Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 56 of the Xbox Hall of Gamers podcast. That's right, we've rebranded by putting an Xbox in front of the name, so if for some reason someone doesn't know what it is, you know, you can tell our biases up front. Yeah. This week, it's just going to be Cameron and I. How you doing, Cameron?
Yeah, I'm going. Fuck PAX. PAX, man. It's too much pressure. Too much to do. Don't even know if my boss has a visa yet. It's too setting up tomorrow. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So we're recording this in the middle of the week, right before we go to PAX. So we'll see when this episode comes out. But yeah, it's all go at the moment. It's been a busy couple of weeks, but we're excited. Going to be over in Melbourne in a couple of days, so it'll be fantastic this weekend. As always, the show is live on Twitch. If you want to come hang out, ask questions, shit post, that kind of stuff.
Suggest
Xbox. Yes.
Suggest French restaurants.
Yes. We're letting Alex pick the breakfast restaurant this time, so he doesn't complain about it.
You know what? He's gonna pick one, and if he picks any restaurant that has a different menu, like a different translated menu.
Oh yeah.
We all have to get that different translated menu. That's the rule.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. You just have to sort of hopefully it has pictures. So yes, you can come watch us live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. Come say hi, hang out in the chat. And I guess we should transition to Song of the Week. Take it away, Cameron.
Easy.
This hunt, that snack goal, the whole bite a mouthful. This trap, them fast one, them speedsters, straight snacks to piece. Sneaking, luring, catching every little critter. Got sweet rolls, got tacos, gotta eat 'em all, so yummy. I'm on a hunt for shish kebabs and sandopedes. I'm on the hunt for snackeries and sodies. I'm on the hunt. They say their names like Pokemon. I'm on the hunt. And man, am I hungry. Chow down.
So I don't know if this is a reference to bug snacks or you just forgot to eat before recording the song.
It's definitely a reference to Bug Snacks,
okay,
but
cool.
But man, there's a lot of food in that game, and a lot of it looks delicious. It's kind of fucked up, but it is also delicious.
100%.
So do you know what the song is?
I do. I'll let them guess in chat. Really easy one this week.
Should be a real simple one. Yeah.
Haven't heard it in a while, actually.
No, yeah, it just came up on my playlist last night while I was thinking about what to write, and I was like, actually, you know what? This is an absolute fucking bang. I couldn't believe we hadn't done it already.
Has he recorded anything since... What was the last big one? Like Grenade? Grenade would have been ages back.
I'm assuming, yeah. Well, he's the supporting artist technically, but
oh really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's featured in it.
Okay, then
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I'll give you it if you get. I mean, you know who it is. That's fine. To be fair, no one knows who the main artist is of the song.
Uptown Funk.
It is Uptown Funk, yes.
And I just know Bruno Mars.
Yeah. So yeah, Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is the second artist on the track there. Mark Ronson is the first one there, whose most popular song is Uptown Funk by far. Although he's done a couple of songs. He did a song with Amy Winehouse, did a song with Miley Cyrus. Like he does a lot of collab songs. But yeah, nice easy one. And yeah, about Bugsnax, which I'll talk a little bit about when we get to what we've been playing.
God, I'm already hungry this morning. I've just been researching places in Melbourne, like for us to go and eat.
Oh, it's gonna be so good!
And
I'm so excited.
I kind of want to just make like a foodie list.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll get to the conference at some stage.
Yeah.
But let's kick into our community questions. We've got a couple of them. First one from our question answer extraordinaire, Isaac. Greatly appreciate you, mate. He says, "Hey guys, what games are you most excited about seeing at PAX and why? Thanks for taking my question." You're very welcome, Isaac. Cameron, so I mean, you're going to be working PAX, so I imagine you've probably got a few thoughts.
So, Sigil of the Magi, Nightcrawlers, and Homesick.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three games you need to see.
Mm-hmm. Are those the ones that you happen to be promoting while you're there?
Yes.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
Never off the clock. No, but like those three I'll be promoting. In terms of, I don't think there's a lot of publishers from what I looked at.
Not big ones anyway, right?
Yeah. There's Devolver.
Sure.
But other than that, I can't think of any other publishers than TIC and Devolver. This was the weird thing for me yesterday. Blowfish was mentioned on there, but it was a senior marketer at Blowfish, their name, and not Blowfish itself.
Are they doing like a panel, or are they?
No, like just as the booth. That's why I'm a bit, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so maybe they're looking for. Look, they're doing some talent scouting, maybe, and or trying to look at. Yeah, that's interesting.
Don't know. There's the one behind us is actually builds like a whole different like arcade machine. You know, like the colorful kind of ones that like do Angry Birds and that.
Yeah.
Very much arcade entertainment machines. There's one Dredge. I'm trying to think of the developer, Black Salt Games, I think. That looked interesting. Because yeah, I was just trying to look up names yesterday and be like, all right, who's roughly around our size? And then you got like your Melbourne locals, you got your Samurai Punk, who just did my motto for them is they suck, because the last 2 games they've done are vacuum cleaner games. Roomba and
Roomba, yeah.
What's the other one that they just released?
I can't remember the other one, but Roomba one. I remember,
And then Massive Monster, of course, who are also hosting Parallels After Party on Thursday night, which I'm going to. Which I'm
sweet.
Really, really keen. Conscript is a really cool game at PAX. What else is there? There's not a lot of console games that I can think off the top of my head, and then the other ones are just not like mobile markets, and I'm not interested in much.
It looks like it's going to be a bit of a weird year. I mean, there were a lot of booths last year for Xbox and like Doom, and like also last year. I say last time we went, which is 2019, right? There was a lot of stuff like Doom Eternal and a lot of upcoming releases. But the market is in such a different place now. And also, I didn't spend any time standing in any of those lines to play any of those games, right? Like, because that's the thing, is that's kind of not what I was there for. I'm much more there for the indies, the interesting experiences, and chatting with devs, and going to the panels. And so, while it is like a gaming convention as such, like gaming is one of like the least important things for me when I go there. So I'm not actually really like super looking forward to stuff. I'm kind of interested in like discovering things. And catching up with everyone, and to be fair, an excuse to go to Melbourne is just fantastic. So
this is the other thing too. Like, it's like taking Xbox out of it, just talking about gaming in general. Steam Next Fest is going to be this weekend as well. So a lot of demos and all that will be shown off already. PAX Oz will have its own Steam page, but like that's where the main traffic's going to be, like to Steam Next Fest. And to me, it's more so like just the discoverability, getting to know the devs, getting to see what projects they're working on. Because like we've seen like Wayward Strand in the past, we've seen Unpacking, stuff like that at PAX. What was the one that Blowfish did?
The horror one?
Like that worked with the light, like it was 2D.
Oh yeah, I can't remember, but I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, there's been heaps of stuff where you just be like, oh cool, and like a lot of stuff ends up coming to Game Pass or comes to Xbox a little bit later, and so we've had a chance to look at some of that stuff. Which is like one of the few benefits of it being like, the last time we went was in 2019, so it's been a few years.
I guess the only other thing with the Xbox stuff too is, while they're technically not there, the Bethesda event is
right.
Which they've got We Are Robots who do the custom controllers. I think they're from Adelaide. They're going to be doing like 6 different designs for like Bethesda level games. So like Fallout, Starfield, all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Which that's pretty cool. Just bring a controller along and they'll do it for free. Give it an upgrade.
That's awesome.
You got to book in, but
still that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, I was talking to my EB manager the other day when we did the trade-in, and he's just like, I just needed to go to that one thing in particular because he's a massive RPG fan.
Right.
Other than that, I'm sure there'll be a few indies. It might be a case of like finding a few good indies and like, all right, cool, 3-4 years in the future.
Yeah, we'll hear about them. Exactly right. Yeah. And so I'm sure we'll do a wrap-up episode of the PAX experience.
I'll do one on Parallels. Parallels is going to be great. There's going to be the Frog Detective Free there.
All right. But yeah, so we'll do a wrap-up episode. We'll talk about kind of what we found and kind of what we did and stuff. So we'll report back, Isaac. And then we have one other question here from Aftos, who's decided he's actually going to listen to an episode for a change. Um, he said he was having a chat with Kiku the other day and asked what, if any, video options do you change before starting a game? For him, he always turns off chromic aberration and motion blur wherever possible, which I can kind of understand.
I still don't understand what chromatic aberration is.
Yeah, it's I don't know. This is the thing is like I'm half blind as is, so I usually don't fuck with any of that. Motion blur doesn't really. Yeah, motion blur is the one that I usually just turn it off. But it's never one of those things where I'm like I have to go and do that immediately.
Yeah.
I'm pretty like I usually check. I'm always like turn the game into performance mode versus visual. So like Forza Horizon 5 is the perfect example. That game looks amazing, but it runs so much better at 60 than it does at 30. Like holy shit, it's a huge difference. So like I'll always take performance over looks anytime. You got to have anti-aliasing on. But yeah, chromic aberration, you don't really super need, and motion blur, I usually turn off. I can't really think of anything else. There are not a huge lot of options on Xbox most of the time, right? Unless it's like a PC port that keeps a lot of that stuff. But even then,
I'm very retroactive to it rather than proactive. Like I won't change any video settings on that unless unless something is affecting my gameplay. The only thing I'll usually mess around with is like I prefer having subtitles in games.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just that's just any media, because I found myself in too many times that I just struggle to understand what some people are saying in games.
Well, that's the thing is with games and movies, like they tend to mix the dialogue audio way too low and everything else way too high. It's just kind of a theme recently. So it can be a bit of a pain in the ass. But yeah, I do exactly the same thing.
But that's like any level of media for me, essentially, except for listening to music on my PC. Next steps.
I did. I started playing Sable last night, and so I turned the high visibility mode on because that game has a real interesting visual style, but it kind of almost gets in the way sometimes. But I'll talk a little bit about it when we get to what we've been playing.
Oh, I'm interested to see if many people pick up, because Rollerdrome adapted that same similar art style, and that's a lot of people have said that's their game of the year. Of how well it controls.
All right. Well, let's get into the news then. Cameron, what do you got for us this week?
There is a ton. How about we start with the Games of Gold?
Yeah, sure.
As that's a bit of a follow-up. So, I remember myself saying that there was always going to be 2 games just coming out.
I'm pretty sure you said there were going to be 3.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I could. Yeah, pretty sure you. Yeah.
So, the lineup for October's Games of Gold got revealed, and yeah, we got Windbound and Bummer Crew, the deluxe edition. Which, in all honesty, I think they're pretty good games.
Yeah,
like, in terms of
indies. Decent couple. Yeah.
However, it is still okay. It's one of those things like we're stepping back from 4, and we didn't know what this was going to look.
Yeah, and I'm going to toot my own horn here, right? It's like I said that when they came out and said, "Oh, this is changing," and they weren't screaming from the rooftops that you weren't going to be losing value or anything, and they were keeping very quiet about the number. It was only going to be bad news, right? Like I knew they were going to drop it down to 2. But yeah, I don't think we've seen like an increase in. I don't want to say like it's hard to say like increase in quality, right? Because how do you quantify that? But these are definitely like still like smaller indie games as opposed to like a larger sort of stuff that you would expect to see from this. But yeah, I mean, it really does feel like they're just kind of phasing it out, right?
Yeah, I'm conflicted on that because I don't think they're going to phase it out while it still brings them a boatload of cash in. End of the day.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And it's a good feather in the cap too. Yeah. And it gets, getting people games. And unlike the 360 games, they also have that added benefit of if you stop paying for gold, then you lose access to all of these games. Which I think is probably another thing that they were like, yeah, we just kind of want to get this done because giving a game away in perpetuity is definitely not as appealing as, giving people away as part of a subscription.
Yeah. And then they can also, well, I'm sure they could address it now with how many downloads there are for a Games of Gold, but I'm sure there would be a massive difference from a Games of Gold download standpoint to a Game Pass download standpoint.
For sure.
Especially
I
day
mean,
ones.
they obviously advertise it a lot more as well. Like, at the beginning, like it's got its own section. I actually need to go and make sure I grab Windbound. Um, But yeah, I'm fine with that. Like, I think Bomber Crew was in Game Pass for a while. Like, I think that's probably not a bad addition. I don't really know much about Windbound. I know it has like a high ratio, so probably not really my kind of game, but still interesting.
Yeah.
And again, like not a repeat, not something that like there's some level of like discoverability there that you'd want to see.
Well, that's the. I'm trying to think my thoughts about this because I know that the mass majority will go like just kill games as gold, but
I suppose.
like, yeah, chapter saying games of gold is dead content. I I'm so conflicted on it because it's still giving some marketing to a dev. It's still, they could have an indie game from 2017 that didn't do well, put it in with Games of Gold, gets a new audience. It's going to be a much smaller audience in Game Pass, but it's still going to get some level of money to the devs to support a future project, keep people employed, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and kind of what I talked about on our last episode, where it feels like Games with Gold is also a good gateway to getting publishers and devs into Game Pass, right? It's like, hey, do you want to test the waters with this giveaway? If it goes well, maybe you want to put your next game on Game Pass or something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Because we have seen like Bomber Crew was in Game Pass already, and now they're like, hey, we'll just put it out there again after it's been gone for a fair while now, but yeah, like I think it's fun. Like it's not hurting anybody. It's something that they can give. And also, you have to remember that not everyone has Game Pass, but pretty much everyone who plays on Xbox has Xbox Live Gold, right?
Yeah.
So, it's not for us as such, but we do get some benefit out of it.
True. I know. I'm interested to see what everybody else's thoughts are. They bummed that it's gone from 4 to 2. Because the other thing too is they never said anything about the OG Xbox games. It was always just the Xbox 360.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Though I imagine, given the backwards compatibility restrictions, I don't think we'll be too many more out of that. I think we're just going to go back to 2. But then again, I mean, they can do whatever they want, right?
Yeah, pretty much it. Let's go on a quick resume.
All right, what do we got?
So, Xbox Series X consoles could feature a way to disable quick resume in the future after Xbox boss Phil Spencer commented on Twitter saying that it's something that they'll put on the list of things to look at. So
yeah, not much of a new story there. I saw it was like a Twitter post, right? Yeah. But it is something that we've talked about in the past, right? Quick resume has caused issues achievement-wise in a few other games, and there are just some games that really just doesn't make sense for.
Yeah, like online multiplayer games serves no purpose because you're gonna have to force quit the game anyway and relaunch.
Yeah, Neverwinter is a perfect example. I launch that every day,
yeah.
And half the time it launches me into a match or into a level, then kicks me out because it disconnects.
You think there would be a level of like just games already approved to be disabled?
Well, that's the thing. Like we had this discussion, fucking.
I think we had this discussion when it first. Quick resume
when it first launched, yeah. Like we talked about how it's like, hey, it would be great to disable it, and I can't remember who it was with us. I guess at the time was like, actually, really, the dev should have already thought of this and already done it for us, to be honest. Which is true. But
this is the thing, though. Is quick resume a thing coming from the? How do I explain this? Coming from like the hardware side of things, that it's just another thing that devs have to implement and people haven't thought of because they're testing this newer technology.
Yeah, maybe.
It could have been just teething issues. That's the thing. And I'm sure like Xbox One Generation 2, people being forced to implement Kinect into their games as well was the thing back then with the earlier titles.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. But I don't really get a lot of benefit out of quick resume, to be honest. Like I'd much rather take a longer boot up time to be, and feel more comfortable about my achievements working and the game progress working and not having to run into technical hitches. There's I understand why they do it from a marketing perspective for like a feature, but for me, like I would just turn it off. I don't need it. It just takes up space. It slows things down.
It's fine for me for the most because I'll just play your quick indies, but like I've only just started to really notice it playing the Crew 2 because Crew 2 is always online, and then I have to like force quit, re-enter, and the
Yeah.
Crew 2 has a massive fucking connector server.
Right.
Like waiting 5 minutes for a game to launch.
Jesus, yeah.
Like once it's up and running, like it's smooth as anything, but like just getting that initial launch is a pain in the ass.
Right.
David's saying some people were saying quick resume can crash online multiplayer games. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it should be an option of like you should be able to toggle it between games.
Yeah, you should be able to like disable it for certain games.
Because
it would make sense.
if it's like a, if it's a thing that's going to take me 1 minute to do playing a 40-hour game, that's easy. If it's something where I'm just going to be like doing some quick easy points, then it doesn't really bother me. It's like whatever.
Yeah, I think for the most part it's an inoffensive feature, but really I don't really get a lot of use out of it. Because most of the time it only really works with bigger games anyway.
Well, the other thing too I was going to say with this quickly is aren't they looking into having certain games that you could, like it was going to show the list. Let us have like let us pin a number of games that we want in quick resume state constantly.
Yeah, maybe that's the better one. Is that like just have it off? Well, no, because they'll never turn it off by default because they want it to be a feature for every user, even if they're not super savvy.
But if I have that custom, if I could customize it to me and say like, all right, cool, I'm just doing all offline racing games at the moment. These are my 5 that I'm working on for the year. Let me just set those ones. Kind of
yeah, that would make sense.
But yeah, but not much of a story, but still pretty interesting. Way the thing goes. There's so much news. Halo. Halo's gonna be a big topic.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with Halo at the moment.
Yeah. So Halo's moving to Unreal apparently. So okay, so there's a lot of rumors centered around 343 and the Slip Space engine and everything at the moment. Rumors going on around that Halo Infinite developer 343 Industries might be abandoning its proprietary Slip Space engine in favor of Unreal. News comes from ACG journalist Jeremy Penter, who corroborated a report from YouTuber Sean W, claiming that Halo Infinite's rumored Battle Royale mode, codenamed... how do you pronounce it again? Is it Takana?
Tatanka? Yeah,
something like that.
Tatanka.
And possibly Halo as a whole could be switching to Unreal Engine. Now, as far as what I've been looking into it goes, from the sounds of it, they were just testing this one. Like, it's essentially meant to be a Battle Royale mode light.
Yeah, right. Which, again, is something they've rumored for ages in general.
That, what is it, Certain Affinity?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm remembering the studio name. Something Affinity.
Yeah, I can't remember them. I know who you're talking about, though, yeah.
But apparently they've been working on it pretty much from that... Yeah, the whole rumor's been that they've either been using Unreal Engine from the start or they found the dev tools essentially non-existent.
Right.
With the Slip Space engine. And then you look at stuff as well, like Bonnie Ross leaving, the head of the Slip Space engine leaving as well. There apparently not being enough documentation, being very difficult to work with, whole slew of like different issues as proof of it. So it could be a case of they've been working the Slip Space engine for two plus years and then swapped over to Unreal. They might have been working with Unreal the entire time. Who's to say at this point?
Yeah, it's hard to know, right? Because again, we have such a limited view on actually what's going on over there. But
yeah, there's also rumors going around that if this works too, that future like Halo Infinite will all swap to Unreal as well.
That would make sense, right? Like if this ends up being the new way to go about things, then yeah, absolutely. I think that would make perfect sense for them to be like, actually, you know what? We'll just move development over to this platform that works really, really well and has a huge amount of support in general, and also is used across a lot of other Microsoft properties.
Yeah, and that's the thing for like most of these things too. for most of the game industry, it's either your Unity or your Unreal.
For the most part, I mean, unless you're
Unless
unless you're Bethesda, basically, right?
Yeah.
Those are usually the main ones.
But yeah, and there's not really much else to say other than we've still got Forge coming out in November.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how all this stuff goes forward. Actually, yeah. David brings up another point. So to be fair, Halo Infinite using Unreal would look great. And he also reminded me, I was like, what the fuck the other day? I loaded up Paw Patrol Grand Prix, uses Unreal Engine.
I mean, everything uses Unreal Engine. They basically give it away at this point.
You would think something like that would use Unity, though.
That's like, well, Unity's gone through a lot of changes recently as well, right? Like they got acquired by, they had some sort of merger with some sort of fucking ad tech horrific thing that turns them into, and then was John Riccatello's running Unity, the guy who ran EA for a bit.
Which is weird because at the same time they're really pushing hard for sustainability.
Yeah, but also it really feels like very paradoxical. So I think Unity is a kind of a bit of a weird spot at the moment.
My boss at Gamescom said that they were handing out, the pens with the plants in them?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. And I'm just like, mixed messages.
Yes, yeah. I think that's very much that the sort of the road that they're on at the moment.
Yep. But and on top of the Halo news, just shoehorning it in there, campaign co-op and mission replay finally coming in November. 24 new achievements. Have you had a look at any of them?
No, because I'm still not going to play it. But I don't know. I did have a quick look at them. They didn't actually look too bad for the most part, from what I could tell.
I think it's a very interesting list, and it kind of makes me think, at the same time, did they need to go to this level when they're having so many other issues? Well,
I don't know. It's one of the things. It's it's the people who work on this kind of stuff don't necessarily work on other bits and pieces, right? So just because they're working on this doesn't mean they're taking away from anything else.
Some of the achievements in there, in co-op, destroy 4 fuel silos within 5 seconds of each other at the ransom keep or the Forge of Tish. Stuff like that. Having to synergize and
some creative stuff, which I'm glad that they're doing, because that's where achievements are fun.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm really looking forward to the challenge. If only Aptos could do Lasso with me.
Yeah.
He's 100% not going to. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Halo and Unreal stuff. Do you want to talk about the Disney Star Wars games?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's not really a lot there at the moment, but basically Disney has come out and said, yeah, fuck yeah, we're going to do more Star Wars games, which I'm like, great, because I love it. But apparently they basically said that they're planning on doing a new Star Wars universe game every 6 months. So one sort of AAA and one sort of smaller, indie-ish title each fiscal year.
Which is pretty interesting, considering they used to do one game every 6 years.
Well, yeah, it was but that was under EA, right? And they didn't know how to make a fucking game to save their life. So I mean, again, there's not really much there to say. But it looks
I've got heaps to say about this.
All right, I want to hear it.
Marvel and Star Wars, juggernauts, obviously, yeah.
Huge.
In terms of IP,
yeah.
They're really pushing hard to get into the video game industry. Not to get into the video game industry, but to establish themselves as a permanent. You think you've got Disney Plus, you've got the amount of movies coming out, just absolutely insane. Insane levels of content.
Of course, right? Because they're big multimedia. Disney owns so much fucking shit, and they obviously want a piece of the pie everywhere. But it feels like they've really stumbled a lot when it comes to video games. I mean, looking at Marvel, Avengers was a fucking disaster for them. I know the Guardians did relatively well, but
okay, so Guardians is a weird case though, because I think Guardians did well after the fact when people realized it was actually good.
Yeah, definitely not on launch yet.
The fact that we now know how Square Enix operates around these level of games, they basically went, well, Avengers didn't do well, we're not putting the marketing budget into it. And
because we heard about fucking Guardians 3 months before it came out, and that was the first time we'd ever heard about it.
Well, I got to launch because I'm like, all right, Guardians is cool. Played it, I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I haven't finished it yet. Got like halfway.
Yeah, it is actually a
but it's a
surprisingly long
really
game.
it's a really good game, but it is a long game. But that was the thing too. Like, I feel like Guardians is such an edge case because it relied on Avengers doing well, and then Square just goes like, if any Western property doesn't meet their incredibly high standards, you're done.
Well, there was that talk a couple weeks ago, right, where someone who used to work at within Square, or was in partnership with Square, I think it was for might have been Silicon Knights, or it was either that or Crystal Dynamics.
I think it's Crystal Dynamics.
Crystal Dynamics, right? Yeah. Came out and basically said pretty much like all those like the memes about like how it's like, oh yeah, Western Studio didn't meet expectations is actually like kind of true. Yeah. Because like they did the same thing with Tomb Raider, they did the same thing with all this stuff. And like David points out, yeah, like Guardians did really well when it came to Game Pass, especially. Like it's a perfect Game Pass title in that sort of AA, AAA kind of double A space where a lot of people really should play that game, but it is a single player, one playthrough narrative experience. But it looks like Star Wars is kind of going on that same track. I mean, now the exclusivity with EA is over. It can kind of go out to a few other places. So we've still got Jedi Survivor coming out, which I'm so fucking excited for. There was a rumor that that's coming out kind of earlier, like next year sometime.
I don't know. I feel like EA is being very weird about their release schedule at the moment. Like Need for Speed should have been announced by now. It's now getting announced, I think, for like tomorrow. It might be. It might be Thursday in the States. I don't know. Sure. But there's that. Dead Space is starting to get like marketing hyped around it now, which I guess it fits in the marketing timeline you'd expect from them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I feel like there's definitely stuff in there. But like I mean, EA has 3 Star Wars games in development at the moment. And like Jedi Survivor is the only one we know about at the moment. But
we know the other one's meant to be an RTS. Yeah, one of them.
Yeah, well, some sort of like strategy. I think one of them is like an FPS. So people are like, okay. Oh, is it going to be like Dark Forces or like Jedi Outcast or something along those lines? Which would be really cool, like a reimagining of that. And then some sort of strategy game, maybe like a tactics game or something. I wonder if that's going to be like a mobile thing. I'm not sure, but because again, they haven't really talked about like what sort of size those projects are.
See, that's the thing. I will touch anything that's developed by Respawn. I love
me too.
Respawn's like one of my favorite developers. Timefall was amazing. Apex was pretty good. Fallen
Order was again. I know it has problems, but it is a fantastic Souls-like game.
See, this is the thing. I'm not like a massive. I don't really care about Star Wars in terms of like media, right? But in terms of gameplay and all that, amazing.
Yeah, right. And again, you've been playing through Dark Souls recently, so I think maybe you actually might get more out of it.
Doing
go
that
back
too.
To it.
David asked, any more news on the KOTOR remake? As far as we're aware, it was... who was the studio that was...
So Saber Interactive is going to now. It was with... I can't remember what the
they'd worked on a whole bunch of ports. They were no way capable of...
Yeah. So Saber are working on it now, but it's like... Again, we've heard nothing about it. I don't think we will hear anything about it for a long time.
I would say project not scrapped, but basically start over.
Yeah, basically, because it sounded like it was in an absolute fucking state when they fired the other people from the original developers.
Yeah, essentially quickly explain what a vertical slice is. A vertical slice is essentially like your very beginning. This is the concept of the game. It's not polished or anything, but this is what gameplay is going to be like, so people get an idea before they start investing in it. Essentially, that was just like they were really proud of it, and they didn't see it the same way, unfortunately.
No, yeah.
But yeah.
And in terms of other stuff, we've got some sort of narrative-driven action game coming from Amy from Skydance, which is Amy Hennig's studio, who did
That'd be interesting.
Which I'm wondering if they're going to go down that that like bounty hunter route that they were talking about with I can't remember what the name of it is. My inner Star Wars fan is dying. It was like 1616 or something. Anyway,
got an idea.
Yeah, It's like there's a famous sub level of Coruscant, which is the the big galactic hub city, that is like full of like bounty hunters, and it's infamous. And so they named the title, or the working title was that, and apparently it was going to be like a Boba Fett like bounty hunting kind of game, which would have been really cool, but it got cancelled. And Quantic Dream, of course, are working on that Star Wars Eclipse game, which again, fuck knows where that is. Apparently that's like not till like 2025 or something. Very curious. Like I really like. There was a really cool cinematic trailer, but David Cage is also kind of a fucking hack, so I'm not sort of holding my breath on that. And then Ubisoft is working on some sort of huge open world thing for it, which I think makes sense. You run that on the Assassin's Creed engine. I'm sure it would be a fantastic kind of third person action game that I'd definitely give a try.
I'm trying to think of something like Odyssey, or like Origins in like Star Wars.
That would be great. Yeah, and you have you got a bunch of different planets. You can have different maps. You can have Jedi and bounty hunters, and it's kind of a match made in heaven, really. But I'm very curious. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I am curious to see kind of where all the stuff happens. And I'm glad that they're putting more stuff out. Anything to wash the taste of the sequel trilogy out of my mouth, I would greatly appreciate. All right, what else have we got?
Let me get back into it. Cyberpunk.
Apparently, there's going to be a new Cyberpunk. It's called Project Orion. That's literally all we know about it.
No. I wanted to extend this way past you.
All right.
Every piece of media that I've seen in the last 2 weeks relates to one of two things. The first thing is Ned Fulmer from the Try Guys and all that drama.
Yes. Yep.
The second thing is how fucking amazing Cyberpunk Edge Runners was.
Yes, I've been meaning to watch it. I know that Charlotte's been checking it out.
I haven't watched it yet. I've seen multiple clips. I essentially have had the entire story ruined for me.
Of course.
Which
I don't know anything about it yet, but whatever. Yeah.
That fucking song though is so addicting. I love it.
Studio Trigger is fucking incredible. I mean, Darling in the Franxx makes no fucking sense from a story point of view, but it's a beautiful, beautiful show. And Kill la Kill is oh god, it's so good. And also, as speaking of the Star Wars connection, they did an episode of Star Wars Visions where someone cuts the Star Destroyer in half with a fucking lightsaber, and it's fucking incredible, and it makes no sense, and I don't even care.
If it looks cool, we don't care if it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Trigger is very much rule of cool. Doesn't matter. It doesn't need to make sense. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out I mean, I'm not surprised that they're doing another Cyberpunk project. They also talked about how they've got 3 different Witcher projects in the works. So CD Projekt Red are very, very busy at the moment, which makes sense. Despite the critical panning they got for Cyberpunk, it did sell a shitload of copies.
Well, they announced another game too that was going to be their own IP.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I don't know much about. But yeah, Edge Runners has done so amazing. And just seeing the Steam charts go from, I think it was 10,000 when the show first launched to 130,000 concurrent players on the 26th of September, if I...
Yeah, about a week ago.
2 weeks over, yeah? It's just incredible, and I'm really all for it because the people, not the developer... the developers got fucked over.
Yeah, they did. They kind of did. Yeah, unfortunately.
And it's good to see them get such a strong win, and like I said, I can't go on TikTok at the moment and not have 5 videos down and not have something Cyberpunk related.
No, it is. It's back in the zeitgeist, so it's obviously going very, very well for them. And I have been thinking about going and firing it back up, but I don't know where I'm going to find the time.
No, that's the thing. I'm tempted to, but yeah, it's one of those things that's going to be a massive investment.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm really glad it's getting love. And it's kind of made me really interested too to see how all these video games are getting kind of a second win.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a big reason for the supporting media, right? Is that they want to get people interested in the IP again. It obviously worked.
I'm guessing they saw Witcher 2, saw how well it was doing.
Yeah,
for the series.
We're working on season 3 of that at the moment, I think, as well. So.
Yep. The other one I wanted to point out too, not Cyberpunk, Cuphead. Cuphead has done well enough for him to guarantee a physical release 5 years after the launch.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
So, Cuphead 5 years ago, back in 2017, they've done 2 seasons of the show now, late last year, and then...
They did one. Are they working on the second season, or is it just...
No,
did it
the
just
second
come out?
season came out a few months back.
Oh, okay, right.
Or,
no, I
like,
didn't-
maybe a month or two back?
I was going to say it was relatively recent, I think, yeah.
I've watched it personally. It's just relative... Like, it's very kiddie watching, and the game is way too, hard for a kid. But it makes me interested to see whether they'll do, like, a Cuphead for kids. Like, explore using it more as a kid's property.
I mean, look, there's a universe there that they could tap into, right? They'd be smart to do that, considering that it's had multimedia releases. But like we're seeing more and more of this, right? Like a lot of the video game stuff is coming to like Netflix and stuff. Like we talked about Dragon's Dogma, the anime they did, and we talked about Castlevania, obviously, which was hugely successful.
So good. If there was a Castlevania game alongside like that TV series, I would have been fucking so happy.
It's been a long time since we've had a good Castlevania game at all. So I'll take what I can get at this point. But yeah, I'm totally with you. I mean, even though they need to remake the early ones.
And yeah, the other thing I was going to say with Cuphead, like the TV show was essentially like early Looney Tune kind of humor.
Yeah,
like,
I watched a few
just
episodes.
throwaway kind of things, but it's still very fun to watch with your child. Better than watching Paw Patrol.
Anything better than that, yeah. There was some talk about Forza Horizon 4, right?
Yeah, so a lot of these are pretty small stories. Essentially, people asking around because your Forza series kind of has like your shelf life of 4 years or so before it gets delisted. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically because of licensing reasons usually.
Yeah. So they essentially came out and gone, well, all right, Forza Horizon 4. Forza Horizon 4 2018, I believe, or so. Probably about time that it's gonna be like hitting the hay, taken behind the shed.
Yeah, it has been. That's kind of been the historical sort of milestone, unfortunately, for a lot of their previous games, both in the Horizon series and otherwise.
And yeah, pretty much a bit of a bummer, but the Forza community manager T10 Main2 Max confirmed on the Forza forums that the game will remain purchasable for some time yet. Everyone, no need to worry, we're not planning delisting Forza Horizon 4 anytime soon. So I'm wondering from this, and this is just a prediction, or not a prediction, but like a theory.
How full of shit are they?
I think they went for a slightly longer licensing deal.
Yeah, I could see that.
After when was Playground acquired?
Oh god, I don't even know. I don't know. It was a while back now.
So I think Forza Horizon 3 was 2015, 2016. I think the massive acquisitions of the IPs was E3 2017, if I'm not mistaken. But I may be wrong with that. When was Playground acquired? When did Xbox acquire? Because I have a theory that when Playground got acquired by Xbox, they went for a slightly longer licensing fee.
I could see it.
2018.
Yeah,
so
I could see it.
2018, Playground Games became part of Microsoft Studios, known as Xbox Game Studios. They're also developing the Fable series. Cool. So yeah, I reckon they would have went like, all right, cool. Here's the money bags. We want, obviously, Forza Horizon has been a juggernaut of a series. I would dare say the best racing game there is on console. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I would say in terms of recent releases, probably it's definitely up there.
I reckon it was a case of they've just paid for the licensing. We'll cover it. And yeah, I think I don't know whether this is going to be like a 5-year licensing deal, whether it's going to be 6, 7 kind of thing. But you think as well, Forza Motorsport with Turn 10, how much of a drought they've had.
Well, yeah, I mean, fuck, because they've got the new one coming out next year, was it?
7 got released delisted, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, a while back. Yeah.
Yeah, game has been removed from stores. So, Horizon is obviously, in my opinion, the better series. That might just be personal preference, though. But then at the same time, like, I could see, the Forza name in itself, them going like hard with the licensing with the newer titles, and
considering how successful they've been, and they've kind of also got quite a bit of backlash from the stuff, and I'm sure the people they've worked with have, they've got better relationships now than they ever have.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they go through these longer deals, or it becomes less of an issue.
The only thing I'm worried about is obviously the Encore achievement was still broken, which is a bit of a bummer. I'm glad I've got Forza Horizon 4 done.
Yeah.
I'm still always going to be pissed off at Sumo Digital for turning down the servers for Forza Horizon 2 and 360.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, it's just very interesting to see how they're treating the property going forward.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it becomes less of an issue. Yeah, like I said, I hope it becomes less of an issue going forward, but it's not a good look, right? Like, just at the end of the day, that's just... Yeah.
I still think 4 is the best in the series too. 5 to me is kind of like a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, I've enjoyed 5 a lot, but again, it is the only one that I've played in many, many years.
4 just felt like a natural progression of things. 5 still a good game, but like even the Hot Wheels DLC didn't really like. It was fun for a little bit, but I
thought it was fine. Like I blew through it pretty quickly.
It was a step down though for 3. That was my problem.
Yeah, so the thing, like, because I haven't played the other ones, it's kind of hard for me to compare. But I definitely didn't feel like I was like, oh, this is okay, I guess. But like, it definitely didn't feel like it was worth what it cost either, because it was quite expensive.
Yeah, essentially. Cool. Not really much else to say to that. Overwatch 2. I think we should mention.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, go for it.
All right. So Overwatch came out. There's a few different things with this. Overwatch came out a few hours ago.
Did it come out? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I watched my... Okay, so my coworker, Kelsey, she's friends with the guys that did the... Like, does some of the trailers at Blizzard.
Yeah.
And, I was just like, well, we're really excited to just, play Overwatch 2 together as kind of a, like a work activity kind of thing.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, she logged in like at 7 a.m. this morning, my time, and I'm just like, all right, watching her screen, 30,000 players ahead of you.
Jesus.
It's a dumpster fire. So
yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to log into the game at the moment. Massive pain in the ass. Trying to find out what phone number my account and my Battle account was connected to. Fucking pain in the ass. I went through for like 20 minutes trying to get everything connected. I'm like, just to do like a game or two before and see what I thought.
I think literally every other human being on Earth had the same idea as you.
Yeah, just because there's been like barely any marketing around this, in my opinion.
No, well, to be fair, it's had such a weird sort of like turbulent release kind of. It's been a fucking mess, to say the least, right? Like, there's been nothing but bad blood about it, unfortunately.
So,
yeah.
The funny thing is with it though, they're fucking keeping the original list, which is weird as fuck. I can't think of a single other case
very strange. Yeah,
that this has happened. So yeah, they keep the original game's achievement list. I think there was a few achievements that had like updated descriptions. I wonder if the Doomfist one got updated. That was the thing I was trying to check yesterday to see if there was discontinued yet. Because Doomfist has an achievement for... Where is it? Okay. That's interesting. So Doomfist, and you can see it in the art for Created, has an achievement for hitting 6 enemies with a single use of his Meteor Strike in quick play or competitive play.
Right, but now it's only 5v5, right? So you can't do it.
So now it's 5v5. However, the achievement description has been updated to be hit 4 enemies with a single use of Doomfist Meteor Strike in quick or competitive play.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, my interest is to this as to whether the PvE events are still going to be ongoing, but essentially this game is a reskin.
I guess so. I mean, like, they're all the major... Yeah.
You get what I mean, though? Like, it's a 2.0 release rather than a...
Yeah, it's more of an update to the base game that changes everything about it, as opposed to, like, a new release, which is why it doesn't have a separate list.
Yeah.
But they're adding more achievements in for it.
But they're only adding 6 achievements in for the 3 new champions. 3 new heroes, which are the Junker Queen, Sojourn, and Kuriku. Or Kuriko, or whatever you call it. It's interesting to me, though, just the fact that they've done it this way.
It does seem very strange, right?
So it makes me wonder, well, if they've just updated the previous game, it's got to be the old SKU.
I guess so, right? Yeah, if they haven't changed anything else about it, right? They've basically just put this over the top of it.
So yeah, I don't know what to expect with Overwatch going forward.
I mean, I hope. Yeah, I guess this is. Yeah, I hope this isn't a sign of things to come, right?
Well, Shane brought up a very good point in Discord. Like, I don't want to be like 8 years down the line having Overwatch 3 come out and then having to do it. But are we getting to a point with games now too that, because I would say tech is at that point that, you know, a lot of things are undistinguishable to the eye, where we could just have that same thing built on the SKU.
I guess so. I mean, if we pull it all the way back, right? Like, that's kind of how we felt about the series releases, right? Was that, like, it was very much like an iteration on the one generation, as opposed to kind of a reinvention or like a new separate thing. I mean, so many of those games are on both consoles. We're only just now seeing things that are only coming to the series. So I can't say I'm super surprised.
Yeah. I know, it'd be very interesting to see how Overwatch 2 is received. I know... Yeah, the marketing cycle's been really weird. I swear I saw something a few weeks too. It feels like a Kotaku article. It's got to be a Kotaku article, but I can't find it. Them cracking down on skins used in unsavory aspects.
Oh yeah, so they're encoding basically, so you can't make porn of it. Like, why did
I don't want to bull out say it because it wasn't sure.
Why did they think Overwatch was popular in the first place? All right, like, don't even get me wrong. Like, I've never played Overwatch. I have seen so much fucking Overwatch porn that I pretty much know. I pretty much know the entire mythos of the entire story and how all the characters interact together. Literally, it's insane. And so they're like, no, we got to shut that down. This is like Tumblr being like, no, we need to get rid of all the porn. We need to, like, shuttle that down.
Well, when I was trying to find this story this morning, that was the first thing that came up. Like, Tumblr said they're not bringing back porn.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's like, stop asking. It's weird though that the only marketing I remember is that for it. Anyway, it's. I'm hoping it's a case that they don't go too crazy with the achievements.
Fingers crossed. Because they did add a couple of new ones, right?
Yeah. Well, they're just the 6, but yeah.
It definitely, yeah. But like, it's games as a service, right? They're just going to keep it going. So, is what it is.
Yep. Be very interested to see everybody's thoughts on the new Overwatch. I'm going to play it with my coworker, just because she's such a massive Blizzard fan. But yeah, it'd be very interesting. Alright. Next article. Tattoo artist successfully sues 2K for replicating their designs on a WWE 2K wrestler.
Not much to say there, I guess, but it's interesting to see that, like, hey, you know, we've seen a few examples of art being stolen or borrowed or concepts being borrowed. I think there was it like Warzone stole some, like, the dog thing or whatever, and they had to come out and say they apologize because they just, again, like, not much to say there, but it's interesting to see that finally some guys like, yeah, fuck that, like, no, you literally stolen our IP. Even though you're a big publisher, you shouldn't just be able to get away with this kind of shit. So
I'm interested in it because it comes down to tattoos. Then, if you, it, like I don't know what the IP kind of like laws are around tattoos.
I mean, they are art, right? I mean, and if you have a design that I don't know, you can't really trademark a design, right? But like, well, you can, but
Well, this is the thing. Like, I can't tattoo, the Marvel logo on me and say, that's my design.
Okay. I mean, you can tattoo it on you. It doesn't actually matter. But if you try to put it in a video game
That's when
and make money on that video game, that gets a bit different.
it leads me to these sorts of like, okay, if you've got these wrestlers and all that like that are heavily tattooed, and they sign some kind of deal to get involved in the game, does that mean they have to be like bare bone, like naked skin, or
I guess I don't know. That's
or should be like, if you're getting tattoos and you're like a celebrity, should you get some ownership of that IP?
It's a good question, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a messy one. I'm curious to see kind of what precedent this kind of sets.
Yeah, because when you go for the article, they say that this one was filed in 2018. Catherine Alexander filed the lawsuit in 2018, claiming that her tattoo designs had been used without her permission in WWE 2K16, 2K17, and 2K18. The tattoos in question are original tribal-style designs Alexander applied to the WWE superstar Randy Orton's upper back and arms in real life.
Right.
As such, Orton's character model in the WWE 2K games also includes the tattoos. As a result, 2K's attempts to authentically recreate his appearance. Now, I would imagine when it comes to like entertainment, like movies, TV shows, and all that, you're just gonna get the makeup job. You're gonna get if you're an artist, you're gonna get makeup job. It's gonna cover your tattoo, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, again, because that's a bit different, right? Because wrestling is kind of a weird one because the actor is also the character is also a real person, whereas like in a TV show, it's like, they're playing a part, so it makes sense for them to, have different hair color, different eye color, whatever, right? Whereas wrestling kind of blurs that line in a weird way. I mean, it's not fake, it's predetermined, right? So it's kind of like,
What about what's the movie called? At World's End, the Seth Rogen one. The World's End, or
yeah, I can't. No, that's. I know the one you're talking about.
The Apocalypse one where they're all paying.
Yeah.
Like parodied versions of themselves.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah. It was fucking Michael Cera is like slapping Rihanna on the ass and fucking gets slapped.
John Cena's a cannibal.
Yeah, it's great. It is very funny.
But yeah, I find it interesting when it comes to this. Then like who the IP rights would go to, and like whether this sets any precedent for. Like it's mainly going to affect sport, in the end, yeah.
Basically, yeah. I mean, like wrestling, especially, right, is one of those things where it's again, like I said, it's that blurring. It's going to be most of those kind of licensed titles that have real people that they're trying to put into video games.
Because I can't think of another industry where tattoo, like, I wouldn't say prevalent, but you've got that much exposed skin in WWE that people are going to tell if you got tattoos or not. I can't think of like FIFA or NHL or NRL or anything else.
No, not really. No, yeah, exactly.
Nothing comes to mind.
No, not in a way that really matters or that they would really care about that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, unless, someone has a face tattoo or something.
Yeah, well, blanking on his name. What's the famous wrestler's name?
The famous wrestler.
That has the around the eye.
Wait, are you talking about Mike Tyson? As in
Mike Tyson. Boxer.
Famous boxer.
Boxer, I meant.
Very fucking different.
Yeah. Mental play.
But that's it's a good point. Like boxing is another example of that, right? Yeah.
Well, I guess.
But then again, that design, like, is that design trademarked to that person? I don't. Yeah.
If you're doing brand deals and all that kind of thing, and with Mike Tyson, does he have to have that, or?
I don't know. I mean,
does he have to pay his tattooist? Yeah, that's.
Maybe.
I don't know. Interesting thing to talk about that I don't think any of the other video game podcasts would probably discuss themselves, but should we get into Game Pass?
Yeah, let's look at the Game Pass stuff. What do we got?
October is fucking stacked.
Yep.
Alright, so games that we know are coming out this month. Chivalry 2 dropped yesterday. Really fucking amazing game. Go play it. Really fun. Medieval Dynasty, October 6th. Console current gen upgrade. Coral Island on October 11th. Evil on October 11th. Dice and Spear program on October 13th. Scorn, which I'm really interested in, got pushed forward a week to October 14th. Yep. Still, every review of this game doesn't give a clear indication of what it is.
I have no idea. I'm really excited. It looks cool.
Plague Tale Requiem, October 18th. I believe the achievements just came out for that yesterday.
They did. Yep.
You had a look at the list yet?
Not yet. I'm going to go in semi-blind.
You're cool. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, which I had no idea was a game that was coming out.
Not neither.
October 18th. Norco, which apparently is very, very good on Steam reviews, October 20th. Persona 5 Royal, October 21st. I don't think we'll see from Matt from like a month after that release date.
Yep, day one. Yep.
Gunfire Reborn, which I'm really keen for, October 27th. And Signalis, October 27th as well. And the other three that got announced as coming soon, but haven't got a release date yet. A Costume Quest. And then Walking Dead Season 1 and 2 on PC.
Which is great, because those have been easy to miss, and people should definitely try those out, because they're great games.
Well,
the first season.
Walking Dead Season 1 and 2 got delisted, didn't they?
I think so, yeah, when Telltale went under. I think when Skybound bought the property. So
okay, that makes sense, yeah, cool.
They came back when Season 4 came out.
In terms of game leaving, you have Bloodroots, Echo Generation, Into the Pit, Ring of Pain, Sable, and The Good Life. The four that you want to pay attention to, I would probably say in the order of easiest to hardest would be Bloodroots, because it's got console commands. I think Echo Generation slightly
Yep, I would
quicker.
say Echo. Yep. Echoes, yep.
Echo Generation, Into the Pit, which I think is like 12 hours if I'm not mistaken, and Sable's like 20 to 25.
Something like that, yeah. I'll talk a little bit about because I've been playing a few of those.
In terms of Ring of Pain, really good game done by a Melbourne team. So if you miss out, if you're like into games like Slay the Spire and that, pick it up.
It's a very roguelike game, yeah.
Very roguelike game. Very fun to play. I'm probably going to pick it up after. And then The Good Life. I mean, it didn't gel.
Firehawk is the only person who really got into it.
I think Firehawk is going to be the only person in our achievement communities that is just like, yes, I hold this on my tag. I don't know why I did it, but
he spent like so many hours grinding out that last achievement. It's fucking insane.
It's just, yeah. But they will all leave on October 15th. So yeah. Tell us what you get done. Matt, what have you been playing?
Okay, so I did Bloodroots. It has a assist mode that allows you to kill all the enemies in every area as you walk through it, and an invisibility mode. So the game is mostly a cakewalk. There's a couple of very slightly challenging achievements that just take a little bit of practice for like getting a combo, getting like a million points and getting a single combo off all the enemies. But once you kind of understand the path, you can do it on the first level.
I dived it ages ago, and I felt like with the assist mode that I was really struggling to get into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
It makes it very dull.
It turns it into a walking simulator because you just kill literally all the enemies. It doesn't even matter. So it just turns into like a platformer. But like it's fine, whatever. Like if it didn't have assists, it wouldn't be the kind of game that I probably play anyway. It's quite challenging and quite score based, which is not really my kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also, I started up Sable last night. And this game is beautiful. I love the art style. I'm not a huge fan of the sort of animation that they do because it's quite choppy, like intentionally so. Like it's missing frames, in a way that looks like kind of like, you know, when you have like moving light past the cave painting kind of thing where it jumps between frames. It's really like a very chill game, just kind of wandering around, solving puzzles, exploring things. I'm only like an hour or two into it, so very early. There is a guide for each of the quests on IGN that I'm kind of using just to kind of make sure I'm going in the right direction. But it's, you know, I don't think there's any missables, so it's just kind of going to be a chill experience, I hope. Also been working on bug snacks before the games got announced that are leaving. So I managed to get one of every bug snack, done all that. I'm just kind of on the home stretch, just got to do like the last story quest, And there's like a DLC island that they added into the base game that you can do that I need to do, and then like some requests, and that's pretty much it for the game. So it's not like a huge amount left. It's mostly just clean up. I like enjoyed the game quite a bit. The concept kind of isn't as exciting as I was hoping for a bit more variety in the snacks and how you capture them. Like some of them are puzzles in terms of like, okay, well, this one's on fire and it's flying, so you need to knock it down, but you can't capture it while it's on fire, so you need to have something to put out the fire while also knocking it down. So there's some puzzle aspects to it, but I was hoping for a bit more variety in kind of how you catch them, and also there are a lot of reskins. Like there are like there's, for example, like the strawberries, which is a little strawberry thing. There's like a strawberry, a white strawberry, a raspberry, and like a blackberry, and they're all basically identical. But like it's a fun game. It's cute. It's a little bit fucked up. And like because like there's an achievement for like feeding each of every time you feed someone, you can change your body part to whatever that snack is. And there's an achievement for making sure that all of your residents in the town are all snackified. And man, do they look like some fucking Cronenberg monstrosities. It's crazy. So I'm interested to see how the story wraps up, because it kind of looks like it has a bit of a dark kind of potential ending to it.
This is the dystopia they didn't tell you about.
Kind of, yeah, kind of. It's kind of like, it's like, wow, there's some weird stuff going on about, yeah, anyway. It's very strange. And then the last thing I've been playing is Destroy All Humans 2.
I'm sorry, my mind immediately just went to the Homer Simpson, like the donut head.
Yes.
As I stopped peeking at it.
Yeah, exactly. I finished up Destroy All Humans 2, so I really enjoyed the first game. So and everyone's been talking great things about the second one, so I jumped on it. It's really good. It is way expanded in terms of scope over the first game, right? Like it's much bigger. There's more cities. There's a lot more variety. It's a little bit racist.
They're not going PC with this kind of stuff.
No, not at all. It's been a little rough, but otherwise I think it's pretty good. Gameplay wise, I think it's better, but my only problem with it is that like I don't think it's quite as clever or funny. Like I don't think the writing is quite as good as the first game. I think the first game was a bit like funnier in terms of like because it had like a smaller scope. They were able to spend more time being like, oh, this we're talking about, like we'll make more jokes about the 50s. Where this one is kind of more just like kind of general, just kind of stereotyping, which is like it's fine. Like it is funny, and there are moments that are really funny, but like it kind of goes off the rails pretty fucking quickly, especially towards the end.
I find it weird because like going from 2 to 1, I know clearly not the way to do it, but I got the review code from PlayOn. And to me, like, you're 100% right with the increase in scope and all that, but I found 2 to be much funnier and 1 to be too bare bones for me. I think that's probably just the feeling that you get when something gets taken away from you.
Sure, yeah, like it's definitely a much more bare bones game. I guess like I like the 50 McCarthy era stuff a bit more than the kind of swinging 60s hippie shit that they kind of pushed into this.
Because 50s jokes is all like the Roswell, the...
Yeah, like it fits a bit more into like the alien theme, whereas this is more like free love and indoctrinating people, and like there is still like the Cold War stuff in there as well, because like but we're also talking like this is like 1969. Yeah. But there are some like some of the Russian stuff in there is very funny, but like overall, like gameplay wise, it's great. I had a really really good time playing through it. I'm glad they didn't have any bullshit challenges. But yeah,
gameplay physics, just yeet people off bridges and that.
Yeah. It was some of the side quests I wasn't a huge fan of, but the main quest I think was pretty good. But like there's only so much variety you can have in just blasting people. I like kind of where they took it. Like that last area I really enjoyed, and kind of the kind of change up they did. But we'll see how it goes. I'm very curious to see what they do with like the third one. I'm assuming they'll just keep rolling and remake Path of the Furon.
I'm guessing Path of the Furon's going to get a remaster. It's been long enough. It's been like what, 2005, 6?
I think it was 2006. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know now. I'm probably like way off.
But that's But anyway, that's pretty much all I've been playing. So I'm at like 2,900 for this week.
Path of the Furon. 2008.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
But that might just be the Xbox 360 port.
True.
But yeah, very good game. In terms of what I'm playing this week, I've essentially just been playing the Crew 2.
Oh, okay, yeah, the car racing. Well, not even just cars,
sorry,
right?
the car, boat, plane, racing, bike. Yeah, it's very weird. It feels like Forza and Rise of Republic had a baby, and is actually a pretty decent game. Obviously, it doesn't have the kind of like look, like the style that Forza Horizon has, where everything's like just beautiful.
Right,
But it's like a very clean, polished Ubisoft game.
All right.
And you know how they are with their kind of sports titles and all that kind of stuff? Has that similar vibe in this, where everything's just open worlds, you're just racing. Everything's like incredibly easy for the most part, except for the boats. The boats are just a pain in the ass. And I think it's more so like everything you're pushing up on your thumbstick to go fast, control your steering and all that. Whereas with boats, you push down because you're pushing the
my God. Okay, that's fine.
It's just annoying, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they got like hovercrafts, all this different stuff. Been working my way through it. Been pretty painless in the most part. It's just a lot. Like there's a ton of races and all that. And this is very much podcast kind of like listen to a Twitch stream, listen to a podcast, something in the background.
Relatively mindless.
Yeah. Which is fun. In terms of the other games I've been playing, like essentially Crew 2's mainly been it. Did some more of the Ascent with Lee and KO last week. Lee had to, because of the weird time zone, you gotta love the time zone jump where it's us being 3 hours out.
Yep.
That led to me and Kiyu playing a few missions of Proteus.
Oh, yep,
The June one. Really, really good. I don't know how hard the achievement list is. Based on what I've played so far.
That's what I'm curious about, because it looks like a really cool game, but I just want to be a little bit careful, because they do tend to go pretty brutal
I'm
on those kinds
wondering
of games.
if anybody's got a time estimate yet. 15, 20 hours. Not too bad.
Okay, not too bad. What's the ratio on it?
5.
Right. Well,
So
it'll be inflated, right?
Yeah. It'll be inflated by Game Pass, but like a lot of it too is like finish the campaign with 100% on all levels. But you can just go back and like fill in the gaps, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Finish a level with 100% on the hardest difficulty. It's only one level. You just do the first level. Finish the level without taking mission. Like, there's a lot of, like, finish one mission doing this particular thing.
Gotcha.
And then get 100% for the rest of it. And I think the guide... I don't think there's a video guide yet, but the guide on TA is actually pretty well detailed of, like, this is how you get it throughout this level.
Okay, cool. I might check that out at some stage when I finally get around to it.
Plus... I know it's at least 2-player co-op. I believe it can go up to 4.
Oh, sweet.
So, it might even be a thing that you get a few friends together. Kill 10,000 enemies. Has custom maps.
Right.
So, I'm pretty sure that you can get, like...
A monster factory.
Okay, yeah. Created 2 such levels with 4,500 zombies each. All you need to do is enter the level on ultra easy difficulty. Run through the ammo health in front of you and blast the wave of the Chaos Caster you spawn it with. Make sure to fully charge all your shots with the secondary fire button. And then, yeah. It's going to be pretty easy going in terms of, like, that. I just wonder if it's going to be one of those games that you're working on cleaning up the last achievement for 5 to 10 hours.
Yeah, I get you. All right. Well, probably check it out then. Anything else?
Games that had to be started on my tag that didn't really have to be started on my tag.
Mm-hmm.
Percy was really excited to play Paw Patrol Grand Prix.
Okay, yep.
Which I believe is like a 15 to 20 hour game, which I'm not really gelling with.
It looks, I was going to say, I think David was saying it was very, very grindy.
Yep. But, looks very pretty for, like, I guess, a kid's game. And actually, like, of all the kid games I've seen, it looks the most polished because it is done in Unreal.
Right.
I've only played like 2 hours of this. Percy seemed to really enjoy it, but she was going through that 3-year-old phase of like, I want to play with Sky. Okay, now I've done like one race, I want to play with Chase. And then just swapping between each, and I'm just like, just pick one character and just play through. At the same time, she loved it. Still amazed at how many games outright is bringing the Game Pass, which is ultra cool.
Oh yeah, because I did the DC Super Pets while I was away as well. It's fine.
you look at it through our lens and it's just like, it's like it's fine, yeah. But for a little kid though,
Yeah.
like how much entertainment that would have been for like a few hours. Like, all right, you sit on the couch, here's a controller, just play this for a few hours.
They got their process down. Yeah.
Yeah. And the only thing hard in DC Super Pets is the
No bots kill. You just do it on the first level.
yeah. And even that took me like a good half an hour because I kept accidentally hitting something.
Yeah.
And yeah, the last one is Dark Souls.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. This
Okay.
is your streaming game, right?
Yep. Blighttown is fucking easy.
It is. Which way? How did you get in there?
I got in there through the sewers.
Oh,
the
boy,
depths.
okay. So you went the hard way. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was following Brad's guide.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah. Okay. So there's one thing I've established with Dark Souls. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Souls for me is becoming easier, which
Yep.
I'm pretty happy with. I'm got up to that area where you can get like 20,000 souls like pretty easily. You open the door, it's 20,000 souls. You just farm them, you can run off the edge, easy.
In the forest.
In the forest, yeah. It was so easy, in fact, that I defeated. Is it Sif the wolf?
Yeah.
Second try.
No, Seth is a decent boss, but not too bad. It's relatively well balanced.
Second try, hit under his legs, just kept on hitting him.
Yeah, exactly. That's the trick. The sword's only in his mouth, so
yeah. However, I fucking hate curses. Curses are the worst, and curses are the only thing I can't deal with. So much to the point of like I need to buy the stone now.
Yep.
Because I can't handle it. I did Blighttown. I'm just like, all right, this is incredibly easy. I just died a few times, but it only took me 2 to 3 hours to get through. Thought that was pretty recent. Did the spider thing.
Yep. Quelaag.
That was a little bit more challenging, but I would say the same level as the gargoyles for me.
Yep.
Did the achievements.
They are the equivalent boss for each other, basically. Yeah.
Did the spiders with that kind of thing. Defeated Sif. Thought that was pretty easy. The sewers, I had more of a hard time with the frogs.
Yeah, the
than I
basilisks.
did with the boss.
Yeah, those things suck. Was it the gaping dragon? I think is the one in the sewers.
Yeah, gaping dragon got the
straightforward.
I think it took like maybe 3 or 4 attempts. The one where you go back to the starting area, that one was a little bit difficult, but then I got rated because this is my streaming game. Got rated at the same time. So the best thing for Dark Souls for me is backseat gaming. Like I love people going in the chat just like try this, try that, try that. Because I think Dark Souls is the perfect game for it, and that's why I wanted to do the series on PC, like through streaming. And then people will just come in just like, just take it easy, just do light attacks, try this, and then they get through it. Gotten so far, I defeated both the Hydras. I got up to the dragon that gives you the Covenant achievement for that.
Yep, yeah, so they're in the Ash Lake. Yep. I love that spot, because if you didn't know it was there, like it's a whole area that you potentially could miss.
Yeah. Ash Lake's just beautiful in itself too. Except, just fuck the frogs. Like even just going down the tree.
Yep. There's frogs there too. Yep.
I got to the point where it's just like, all right, cool. I'm not dealing with the frogs anymore. I'm just jumping strategically.
Yep.
To each branch and then getting down that way and just yeeting my way through.
That's pretty much what everyone does. Yep, that's the way to do it because they're bullshit.
Please tell me I don't have any more frogs to deal with for the rest of the game.
I don't know about the rest of the game. There's a few other areas where they're kind of not fun. But I'm just thinking back. You don't need to deal with Seath. You don't need to deal with them for Gwendolyn, I don't think. I think you should be okay for the rest of the game for the most part.
Cool. Because that's the only thing that's like I did my first initial play to get like used to the game, restarted, got more familiar with the aspects of, don't fucking get rid of the Fireborn soul or whatever it is, because that's a really good upgrade.
Yep.
Just going back and then yeah, I've really enjoyed the second playthrough, but just the frogs. The frogs are the only thing that really fucking pissed me off. And then reading, like, I'm just like, is there a proper way to do it to not get cursed? Is all it takes is one bad roll and you're fucked.
Basically, yeah.
But with that reading online, apparently with the original Dark Souls, they stacked cursed.
They did. Yeah, they patched it later in the later ones, but the original one is brutal.
Which, yeah, I was reading that and I was like, that is absolutely fucked. But yeah, probably going to do some more Dark Souls when I get back from PAX. Really enjoying it. It's going to be the thing that, like, how am I going to go on my third playthrough? Because I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the remaster, and then I'm going to do Games for Windows Live. Like, I want to do the entire series, and I think I will get better with it. But it's going to be, I think it's going to come down to like learning the areas.
100%.
So one's going to be easier, like, by the time, but then is it going to like massively shift up in 2? Is it going to?
The problem with 2, and the biggest problem with 2 is that it's kind of 2 is more of an unfair game. They will throw a lot more enemies at you in one area. To fight at once, and so you need to kite a lot more. You need to be a lot more tactical. You'll be outnumbered a lot more often in the second game. Second game has got some of my favorite bosses in it, but also some of the biggest amount of bullshit, unfortunately. 3 kind of brings it back a little bit.
Everybody that's been jumping in the chat's been saying that Demon Souls is their best Bloodspawn. It's either Bloodborne or Demon Souls is usually.
Yeah, people love those ones. I think Bloodborne has I like the tone of Bloodborne a lot more. That sort of, it's a lot creepier as opposed to like just kind of like less gothic horror and more kind of Cthulhu-esque Victorian style.
Like it's given me such an appreciation for like the games that I just want to beat chapters, getting every single Dark Souls kind of game.
Of course. Done. Yeah. Yeah, Chapter's in chat saying, yeah, Dark Souls 3. Yeah, I love Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 3, like, 1 will always be my favorite, but Dark Souls 3 kind of got the formula down where they took bits of Bloodborne that worked really well in terms of, like, the more frenetic combat, expanded the world out, but also added some sort of, like, small usability stuff. Also, the nice thing about it is that it's the gear that you get in terms of like the wearable gear in 3 almost has no impact because they realize that so many people like dressing up like cool characters or whatever, making their own stuff. So it's not like their impact on stats is very minimal as compared to like what you would get for a weapon.
Yeah. So like freeze essentially just make your costume rather than actually worry about. Yeah.
Pretty much. Like I found like one of the Swamp Knight's Pyromancer sort of armor, and I was like, this is what I'm going to wear, and I fucking love it. And like I boosted it up the stats for it, but it gave me a little bit of extra like fire resistance, but that was about it.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I have to see how I go. The only problem is like it's so much game like to do in a few hours in streaming.
There's a lot. Yeah, it's a big game.
Like I think like the whole Dark Souls series I'll be doing for quite a few years yet. But
potentially
be interesting. And then I think Elden Ring was also coming out with. Like I think Bendo and Namco said Elden Ring was only the beginning of what they had planned.
Oh yeah, they've definitely got a lot more planned for that. What that actually entails, I don't know if it'll be another game or DLC. Probably DLC.
New outreach and IP because with Sony and From Software too. They said something about like exploring TV and movie properties.
Makes sense. There's a lot of good lore there, a lot of interesting stuff.
But yeah, that's essentially what I've been playing. Go for the leaderboard.
Yeah, so we got. What do we got? Sorry, hang on. Let me just pull this up. We've got Thrash Forever with 15,085 at number 1. Yep. We got Vulgar Latin with 14,565, and we got in second, and we got Galaxy with 10,355 in third.
So
good work, guys.
Very good.
I'll just fly through some completions as well. Red finished up AI. Again, a lot of people were finishing up AI. It was leaving Game Pass. I'm really glad to hear it because I love that game. So Red finished up AI and Destroy All Humans 2. Mad Lefty finished up AI. Rapture finished up AI and Rick Henderson. Resi Gamer finished up Quantum of Solace. Natolinator finished up House Builder. And David Malloy finished up a bunch of trash as usual. He's really taken that mantle from Rapture recently. There's a lot of real bad games in there.
Cool.
And then I'll quickly touch on the word challenge. I have set up something for it. It is a new game. The only clue you're getting, and again, because we're going to be away, I'm going to make it a hard one. It's an FPS game. That's all you're getting. It's an FPS.
Cool.
So good luck. It's not The Witness, for fuck's sake. All right? All right, it's not The Witness.
Same
Yes.
thing with the Patreon. Patreon games went up late, so I'm going to give it like an extra little bit, especially seeing packs. We'll draw it next podcast step. And then, we'll post the ones for October.
And I've just finished editing the episode for Doom. I know I was talking about it, but I've been away for work, unfortunately, so I haven't had time. But I literally just finished it this morning. So I will probably post that sometime this weekend if I have time while I'm at PAX.
So, quick shout out to our patrons. So Lee, Michael, Chapters, Nuttalator, Firehawk, Mad Lefty, G Spaceman, Admiral Awesome, Keo, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavalier 07, Old Man Clown, Mark B, and Mick Legend. And on top of the Patreon, I should have said it at the start of the podcast, with us rebranding and just adding Xbox in the name as well, also getting a new logo, like not main logo, but like, something to put on the Spotify and that.
We're getting some new artwork done, basically.
Yeah. Looks really cool. I think you'll be really happy with it when you see it. The champs have had a look at the process. But yeah.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. We'll do an official announcement once it's actually out and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, with PAX coming up, we are going to be pretty under the pump, so we will let you guys know when the next episode's happening, all that kind of stuff.
And if you're at PAX, come say hi.
Absolutely, yep. Charlotte and I will be wandering around for I think Friday and Saturday, and I know Cameron's going to be there the whole weekend working the booth, so come say hi.
I'm essentially at the entrance.
And then otherwise, if you want to hang out with the rest of our community, discord.io/HallOfGamers is the place to find us. I didn't explain about the word challenge, but basically go guess what the game is in the channel, word challenge channel in there, win $20.
Join the Discord and just ask what's a word challenge, and we'll.
Yeah, exactly. If you haven't figured it out, it's pretty self-explanatory. You'll see a lot of bad guesses in there. As like I said at the top of the show, we're on Twitch now. We're Xbox Hall of Gamers. So that's the name for us. Come say hi, hang out in the chat like Charlotte did, like Chapters and David. And if you want to contact us in other ways, Hall of Gamers Podcast on gmail.com or at Hall of Gamers Pod on Twitter. Subscribe to us on your platform of choice. Leave us a review. Tell your friends. Word of mouth, as always, is huge for us. Make sure you send in your questions. We'll get them on the show for next week.
Sweet.
All right. Cameron, if you want to be found, what's the haps?
You can find me, Shadowless Edge, on Twitter, on TA, on Xbox. That's pretty much it.
Fantastic. And you can find me on Neomaster on everything, True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord, as always. Thank you, Cameron, for joining us. Thank you for our audience for listening. Thank you to Charlotte for moderating and being a wonderful human being. And we will catch you guys next week, maybe. Next
weekend?
Next week, whenever the fuck we do another episode.
Okay, if we make it back from PAX...
Yes,
we might all be in food comas.
I was going to say, I'm either going to be in a food coma or I'm going to catch the PAX pox. It's going to be one of the two. So we will see in what state we're in after PAX. But we will keep you up to date. Check up on the Discord for our latest updates. Thank you all for joining us. We will catch you guys later on.
Bye-bye.